Awaken Pittsburgh has worked really hard to do research on all of our programming. And the three main areas that we focus on are stress reduction, compassion fatigue and burnout, and indicators of mindfulness. And so in all three of those areas, we see shifts from before the programming to the end of the programming. We do pre and post self-report data on each of those measures, using kind of traditional measures, surveys in the field. And we see that there is always a shift to the positive in our adult populations. The thing that doesn't always happen is statistical significance. However, even with tiny populations, 10 people, 15 people, we have had statistical significant shifts in all three of those measures. We're often working with populations that are extremely stressed. And for them to be able to be fully present in their jobs, one of the biggest things we can do is help them better manage their stress. So seeing that shift in stress pre to post programming is one of the most important things I think that we can do. The same with compassion fatigue. When you constantly have to be serving populations that have experienced great trauma or have a lot of difficulty, that compassion fatigue can really create a toxic environment for clients or children. So working with those care providers, working with those teachers to help them manage their own secondary trauma, their own stress, and their own compassion fatigue is really crucial.
I'm really proud of the fact that Awaken has committed itself from the very beginning to measurement. I think the ability to not just look to data that has been gathered elsewhere, but actually make sure that we are looking at the impact that we're having and being able to have a consistent set of metrics that we measure against both pre and post, and really understand, are we making the difference that we think we're making?
Some of my colleagues who've participated in the program enjoyed it and honestly set it down after that. They weren't sure where to move forward, how to integrate it into their own lives, let alone how to start thinking about integrating it into their classrooms and in-center programming. Several of them communicated with me that they felt like they needed more time, which is an adjustment to think about in program creation. But they were also willing to keep pursuing it, and they felt a difference in the short time period that they were able to experience it. Many of them use some of the practices that we learned in the course, so while they feel they don't practice consistently on their own, they remember to breathing, most importantly. They remember to pause and take a breath when they're aggravated in a classroom. They remember to spend a few minutes in their car before they enter a challenging home visit, and probably a few minutes after, just to self-regulate. So I think they're integrating those experiences better than they perceive, but in perhaps a non-traditional way.